God wants to hear you. Come, come.
God sees what no one else sees. He sees the quiet tremble beneath your strength and the hidden ache behind the smile you show the world. He sees the questions that wake you in the middle of the night and the fears you silence because you feel no one would truly understand them. He sees the moments when you hold your breath just to keep your emotions from overflowing, the memories that return without warning, the disappointments you carry like invisible stones in your chest, and the longing you feel for a peace that lasts longer than a few minutes at a time. He sees the exhaustion behind the way you keep pushing forward even when your heart feels worn and thin, and he notices the way your spirit sometimes whispers for help even when your lips stay still. Because nothing about you is hidden from him, not the thoughts you wish you didn't think, not the worries no one knows you carry, not the heaviness you mask with calmness. And in this moment, he draws near gently, without pressure, inviting you to let him step into the places you guard most fiercely, because you don't have to carry everything alone. You don't have to pretend to be unshakable. And if something inside you feels the need to open even slightly right now, don't ignore it. Your heart knows when it's safe, and God is creating that safety around you. So let yourself lean toward him, just a little, because this may be the breath your soul has been waiting for. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way you keep holding yourself together, even when your heart feels like it's unraveling thread by thread. He sees how you carry responsibilities that feel heavier than your own strength should allow, and yet you keep going because you don't know how to stop. He sees the moments when you sit quietly staring at nothing, not because you are empty, but because you are overwhelmed, and no one around you notices the battle happening inside your mind. But God does. He sees the silent prayers you offer in your thoughts, the ones too fragile to speak, and he holds them as carefully as a parent holds the trembling hands of a child. He sees the way you long for understanding, for someone who truly hears the things you don't say, for someone who looks at your soul instead of your surface, and he wants you to know that you haven't been invisible to him, not for a single moment, because every day he watches the courage it takes for you to carry what you carry. And if you feel something stirring in your heart right now, don't be afraid of that stirring. Let yourself respond to it even quietly inside, because sometimes the smallest internal yes is the beginning of the deepest healing God wants to bring into your life. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way you try to pretend you're fine, even when something inside you is unraveling slowly. He sees the moments when you step into a room and hide your emotions behind practiced smiles, so no one notices the heaviness sitting quietly in your chest. He sees the nights when you lay awake staring at the ceiling because your mind is too loud and your heart is too full. He sees the disappointment you carry from seasons where you tried so hard but nothing turned out the way you hoped. He sees the dreams you tucked away because it hurt too much to keep believing in them. He sees the loneliness that finds you even when you're surrounded by people, that quiet ache that makes you wonder if anyone truly understands the depth of your soul. And he leans close to the places inside you that others never reach, reminding you that every thought, every tear, every moment of silence matters deeply to him, because you have never been unseen, not even for a moment. And if something inside you is beginning to open as these words touch parts of your heart you rarely acknowledge, allow yourself to respond, even with a quiet whisper inside, because sometimes healing begins when you simply admit that you need God, and letting yourself feel that need is not weakness. It is your soul finally recognizing the one who has been watching over you with a love deeper than anything this world has ever offered you. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way you've been holding the pieces of your heart together with quiet determination, trying not to let anyone know how fragile some parts of you feel. He sees the effort you make every day to keep moving forward, even when your spirit feels stretched thin. He sees the moments when you pause in the middle of your routine because a wave of emotion rises out of nowhere. He sees the memories that suddenly return and make your chest tighten, He sees the hopes you still try to protect even after life has given you reasons to doubt. He sees the moments when you pray silently in your thoughts because you're too tired to form the words out loud. And he draws near to you not with pressure, but with gentleness, reminding you that you don't have to carry everything alone, because even when your strength feels small, his care for you is vast. And if your heart feels something soft awakening inside you, as these words meet places you rarely touch, don't push it away. Let yourself lean into that warmth, because sometimes the shift you've been praying for begins in a moment when you allow God to step into the exact place where you've been hurting quietly for so long. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the moments when your heart feels full of unanswered questions, and you try to quiet them just to make it through the day. He sees the way you swallow emotions, because you don't want to be a burden to anyone. He sees how often you put yourself in the background so others can feel supported, even though sometimes you wish someone would pause and notice you too. He sees the tenderness you guard so carefully because life has taught you that vulnerability isn't always safe. He sees the strength you don't give yourself credit for, the perseverance that has carried you through seasons others would have collapsed under. And he sees the hidden heaviness you're tired of managing on your own. So right now he leans gently into that quiet place inside you, not asking you to be stronger, not expecting you to hide anything, but inviting you to let him in. And if your heart feels even a small desire for comfort or understanding, don't silence it. Let yourself respond to that gentle pull inside, because God has been waiting to meet you in the spaces where you've felt most unseen, ready to hold what you've carried for far too long. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the moments when your heart feels full of unanswered questions, and you try to quiet them just to make it through the day. He sees the way you swallow emotions because you don't want to be a burden to anyone. He sees how often you put yourself in the background so others can feel supported, even though sometimes you wish someone would pause and notice you too. He sees the tenderness you guard so carefully because life has taught you that vulnerability isn't always safe. He sees the strength you don't give yourself credit for, the perseverance that has carried you through seasons others would have collapsed under. And he sees the hidden heaviness you're tired of managing on your own. So right now he leans gently into that quiet place inside you, not asking you to be stronger, not expecting you to hide anything, but inviting you to let him in. And if your heart feels even a small desire for comfort or understanding, don't silence it. Let yourself respond to that gentle pull inside, because God has been waiting to meet you in the spaces where you've felt most unseen, ready to hold what you've carried for far too long. God sees what no one else sees. He sees how you sometimes move through your days on autopilot because you're carrying more inside than you know how to express. He sees the moments when you pause in the middle of nowhere because your heart suddenly remembers something it hasn't healed from. He sees the heaviness you bury under routines and responsibilities, the thoughts you push aside just to keep functioning, the worries that circle your mind even when your body is tired. And he understands the pressure you place on yourself to be okay, even when you're far from it. He sees your resilience, your effort, your quiet bravery, but he also sees your exhaustion, and he wants you to know you don't have to pretend with him. Not today, not ever. So if you feel even a tiny need to let him into this moment, don't hold back, because your soul deserves a place where it doesn't have to hide. And God is gently creating that space for you right now, reminding you that being honest with him is the first step toward the healing your heart has been longing for. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way your heart tightens when old wounds are touched by new moments. He sees the thoughts you try to silence because you're afraid they'll steal the bit of peace you have left. He sees the times you stare into the distance not because you're unfocused, but because your soul is tired of carrying so many unspoken stories. He sees the pressure you feel to stay strong for everyone else even when there's no one you feel you can lean on. He sees the way you hold back your own emotions so you don't inconvenience anyone, and he knows how heavy that silence has become. and yet he moves toward you with a gentleness that doesn't demand explanations, reminding you that with him you don't need to make your pain small or hide the parts of you that feel messy or complicated. And if something inside you is whispering for comfort right now, let that whisper rise. Let it reach him, because he's been waiting for the moment you allow him to touch the places inside you that have been aching for far too long, reminding you that your soul was never meant to heal alone. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the moments when you feel disconnected from yourself, when you look in the mirror and wonder where the version of you that felt lighter and braver has gone. He sees the pieces of your story that still confuse you, the parts that didn't unfold the way you planned, and the questions that linger even after you've tried to move on. He sees the way memories surface at unexpected times, bringing with them a heaviness you didn't choose. He sees how you hold your breath during conversations because you're afraid your voice might break if you say too much. He sees the way your heart longs to be understood without having to explain itself. And he understands you far more deeply than you realize. So deeply that he doesn't wait for you to find the right words. He meets you in the feelings you can't articulate. And if you sense even a small pull toward his presence right now, don't silence it. Allow yourself to lean into that gentle tug, because it's in moments like this that God begins to loosen the knots inside you and breathe peace into places you thought were unreachable, reminding you that nothing about you is too complicated for his love. God sees what no one else sees. He sees how often you reset your emotions throughout the day just to keep going. He sees the moments when your heart grows quiet, not because you are calm, but because you don't know how to voice what you're feeling. He sees the heaviness you hide behind humor or distraction, the way you try to stay busy so your thoughts won't overwhelm you. He sees the prayers you whisper under your breath when no one is around, the ones filled with fear, longing, and hope all at once, and he holds those whispers as if they were the most precious offerings you could give him, because he knows you're doing your best even in the places where you feel like you're failing. He sees the dreams you still think about late at night, the ones you pretend you've forgotten. He sees the disappointments that changed you, the voices that hurt you, the moments that left marks deeper than you admit. And he moves toward your heart with a gentleness that doesn't rush you or demand explanations. And if something in you feels a quiet need for his closeness in this moment, let your soul respond, even softly, because God meets you exactly where your silence begins, and in that place, he starts to rebuild the strength you thought you had lost. God sees what no one else sees. He sees how often you reset your emotions throughout the day just to keep going. He sees the moments when your heart grows quiet, not because you are calm, but because you don't know how to voice what you're feeling. He sees the heaviness you hide behind humor or distraction, the way you try to stay busy so your thoughts won't overwhelm you. He sees the prayers you whisper under your breath when no one is around, the ones filled with fear, longing, and hope all at once, and he holds those whispers as if they were the most precious offerings you could give him, because he knows you're doing your best even in the places where you feel like you're failing. He sees the dreams you still think about late at night, the ones you pretend you've forgotten. He sees the disappointments that changed you, the voices that hurt you, the moments that left marks deeper than you admit. And he moves toward your heart with a gentleness that doesn't rush you or demand explanations. And if something in you feels a quiet need for his closeness in this moment, let your soul respond, even softly, because God meets you exactly where your silence begins, and in that place, he starts to rebuild the strength you thought you had lost. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way you try to hold yourself together, even when something inside you feels like it's quietly breaking. He sees the days when you put on a brave face because you don't want anyone to worry. He sees the nights when the silence feels heavier than usual, and old memories return with a sting that surprises you. He sees the moments when joy feels distant, and you wonder if you'll ever feel fully yourself again. He sees the hopes you still carry even though you rarely talk about them, the desires buried deep in your heart that you've almost convinced yourself aren't meant for you, and He sees the way you long for someone to understand your soul beyond your words. And in this moment He draws near with a presence that wraps around your heart with a softness the world has never given you, offering you a place where you don't have to shrink your feelings or pretend they don't hurt. And if you feel even a small stirring inside, a quiet need for God's nearness, don't ignore it. Allow your heart to respond, because this gentle openness may be the beginning of the healing you've been waiting for without even knowing how to ask for it. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the quiet tension in your chest when you try to hold back emotions you don't know how to explain. He sees the way your thoughts drift when you're alone, wandering through places you rarely let anyone near. He sees the times when memories rise like waves and you do your best to steady yourself so you don't fall back into old pain. He sees the disappointment you try to hide beneath strength, the hidden griefs you've never said aloud, the moments when you feel like you're stretching yourself thin just to keep life from unraveling. And He understands the tenderness of your heart far more deeply than anyone ever has. He knows how hard you try to move forward, even when you feel stuck between who you were and who you're trying to become. And He draws near to that fragile space inside you with a presence that doesn't push or demand, but simply stays, offering peace where fear has been living. And if your soul feels even a soft desire to let God touch these deeper places, don't silence it. Lean into that gentle longing, because God is not asking for perfection. He is inviting you into a healing that begins the moment you allow yourself to be seen by the one who has always understood what you never had words for. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way you try to steady your breathing when emotions rise without warning. He sees the heaviness that settles in your chest when certain thoughts return, the ones you wish you could forget but somehow still feel. He sees the quiet courage it takes for you to keep trying even when your heart feels uncertain and your spirit feels fragile. He sees the moments when you retreat into silence not because you don't care, but because you're trying to protect the parts of you that still ache. He sees how deeply you long for peace, for clarity, for rest that reaches beyond the surface. And He understands the exhaustion behind your desire to feel whole again. So He steps toward the most hidden corners of your soul, with a gentleness that doesn't overwhelm, reminding you that you don't have to keep your emotions locked away, that your vulnerability is not a burden to Him. And if something in you feels like reaching for Him in this moment, even if it's quiet or small, don't hold that back, because your soul is recognizing the one who has always been near, ready to comfort, ready to restore, ready to remind you that you've never walked alone, not even in the places you never spoke about. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way your heart sinks when you remember moments that shaped you in ways you still don't fully understand. He sees the weight of expectations you've carried for years, expectations that sometimes feel impossible to meet. He sees the way you hold yourself together when life feels uncertain, gathering every fragment of strength you can find just to keep moving forward. He sees the dreams you've quietly watered with hope, even when doubt tried to drown them. He sees the moments when you stare at the sky and wish you could hear Him more clearly, wishing for a sign, wishing for a touch, wishing for something that reminds you He hasn't forgotten you. And He draws near with a presence that wraps around your soul like warmth on a cold night, reminding you that your questions don't intimidate Him and your pain doesn't push Him away. He understands the depth of your emotions even when you can't describe them. So if part of your heart feels the urge to open just a little more, allow that softness to rise, because God is meeting you in this very breath, holding the fragile things you've carried, whispering that your healing matters, your heart matters, and He has always seen the truth of who you are beneath everything you've survived. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way your thoughts sometimes drift into places you don't talk about, the places that still carry the echoes of disappointments and battles you fought alone. He sees the part of you that feels older than your age because of everything you've endured. He sees the strength it takes for you to keep believing when life has given you reasons to doubt. He sees the softness in you that the world tried to harden, the tenderness you protect because you've learned how fragile your heart can be. He sees the weight of moments you never resolved and the pressure of emotions that sit quietly inside you, waiting for the right moment to surface. And he draws near with a calmness that steadies your breathing and quiets the noise around you, reminding you that you don't have to hide the heaviness you feel. You don't have to pretend the past didn't leave marks. And you don't have to be strong every second of every day, because even now he is inviting you to rest inside his presence. And if your heart feels a small shift, a gentle warmth, a quiet pull toward him, don't ignore it. Let your soul respond, because God is touching the places no one else sees, offering comfort deeper than words and peace stronger than anything the world has given you. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way you try to keep going even when your soul feels tired in places you cannot explain. He sees the moments when you quietly withdraw because you don't want anyone to notice how overwhelmed you feel. He sees the way certain words, certain memories, certain moments still touch wounds that haven't fully healed. He sees the pressure you carry to be okay for everyone around you, even when you're craving a place where you can finally let your guard down. He sees the emotions you've tucked away for years because you didn't know how to process them at the time. And he knows how much you long for someone who truly understands the depth of what you hide. So he draws near with a gentleness that reminds your soul it's not wrong for feeling deeply. It's not wrong for needing comfort. It's not wrong for wanting to be held by something greater than your own strength. And if your heart feels even a hint of longing for his closeness right now, let yourself respond to that feeling, because God is speaking into the places where you've stayed silent, touching the corners of your soul that ache for reassurance, and offering the kind of peace that sits quietly inside you until it becomes stronger than the storm that brought you here. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way you try to keep your heart steady when life pulls you in different directions. He sees the weight of choices you've had to make alone, and the quiet fears that settle in your chest when you think about the future. He sees the tenderness inside you that you protect, because the world hasn't always been kind to the softness you carry. He sees the dreams you still hold on to, even though they've been bruised by disappointment. And he sees the courage it takes for you to keep hoping when hope hasn't always been gentle with you. And in this moment, he sits close to the parts of you that feel stretched thin, offering you a stillness that begins to soften the noise around your spirit, reminding you that even when you don't understand the path you're on, he is not confused by it. He is not overwhelmed by the things that overwhelm you, and he has never once lost sight of who you are beneath everything you've had to survive. So if you feel something inside you reaching for him, even quietly, allow that reach to happen, because your heart is craving the presence of the one who has carried you through storms you never spoke of and held you in ways no one else ever could. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the moments when you're surrounded by people yet still feel alone inside, carrying thoughts no one knows you're fighting. He sees the heaviness you push through just to appear steady, the emotions you silence because you don't want to burden anyone, the questions that linger in your mind even when you try to distract yourself. He sees the ache that rises when reminders of your past surface unexpectedly. He sees the dreams you've buried under layers of fear and the hopes you're afraid to speak because you've been disappointed before. He sees how hard you work to keep your heart soft even after everything that tried to harden it. And he draws near with a presence that doesn't demand strength from you but gently makes room for you to finally breathe, reminding you that he never needed you to have it all together. He only wanted your honesty, your closeness, your willingness to let him see you as you truly are. And if you feel even the slightest desire to lean into him right now, follow that whisper inside, because that longing is the beginning of healing, the quiet stirring of a God who has never stopped watching over every unspoken part of your soul, ready to meet you exactly where your heart needs him the most. God sees what no one else sees. He sees the way your heart softens in moments like this, When the noise around you fades and you finally allow yourself to feel what has been buried beneath days of pretending and nights of trying to hold everything together, He sees the longing in you for peace that lasts, for rest that reaches deeper than your thoughts, for comfort that embraces even the parts of you you've hidden from the world. He sees the quiet hope rising inside you right now, the hope that maybe God really does understand the things you cannot explain. And He steps closer with a tenderness that surrounds your soul like warm light after a long darkness, reminding you that you do not have to face your inner battles alone anymore. You don't have to silence your emotions or shrink your pain or pretend you're stronger than you feel. And if something in you is reaching for Him in this moment, let your heart respond, because your openness is not weakness, it is the doorway to healing. And God is meeting you here with love that sees everything and still calls you worthy, still calls you His, still calls you chosen. And now may His presence wrap around your mind with calm. May His peace settle over your heart like gentle rain. May His mercy restore what life has worn down. May His strength lift what you can no longer carry alone. And may His love fill every empty place inside you until you remember again that you have never been unseen, never been forgotten, and never been without Him. Because God sees you, He knows you, and He blesses you now and always.